right, welcome back to the Player Warm podcast here. Today we've got a special guest with our new interview segments that we're starting to do. You know, we're trying to do some different things here on the podcast. Let's get to it. Introduce yourself. What's your name, good sir?
Kirk Stuart. How did I end up here?
I I don't know. What are you doing here? What do you do?
I assume you're interested about my whatnot streaming for the most part.
That yeah,
But
yeah. What do you do in cards? I should get go like that. How about?
yeah, so I stream on whatnot. Try to do it twice a week, sometimes a third if I have enough inventory, if it pops up. Been growing a lot. It's been on whatnot since October 2024. Started
Okay.
streaming shortly after, not so seriously, just to try to get some of my money back that I lost in breaks and all these other single channels. And now, yeah, now I've actually am trying to just do it more seriously, not really PC, which means personal collection, any cards, because that just kind of gets in the way of my cash flow. So,
Right.
yeah, and it's been working. I mean, now I have 40K on whatnot, and it's really started to grow.
What were you doing before Whatnot? Like, were you doing eBay or were you on another platform or something? No.
I honestly wasn't into sports cards. As a kid, obviously, everyone was. My friend told me about whatnot, and I got addicted right away. So I was like, I need to start selling some of this stuff because I've been buying so much. So that's
Right.
kind of how it started. And then I was like, well, it's kind of fun. I enjoy the streaming aspect of it. I hate the packaging, but that's just every job has its good and bad parts. Um, Hate the packaging, but the streaming I enjoyed. So I was like, I'll stick with it. Started getting some normal or not normal, regular buyers and started kind of understanding the algorithm of whatnot, how you can get more people um in your show and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it and just keeping to grow, hopefully.
Yeah, so for our viewers, what style of show do you do? What do you like? Do you do like a crazy wheel game? Are you doing like throwing knives at people? Sports card breaks, like Pokemon? What do you do mainly?
I put a sports card on the wall and try to cut it in half with a knife is usually what I do on stream.
Nice, nice,
But
nice.
the other 1% of the time, usually I'm doing sports card singles.
Singles, okay.
So, yep, I run a card on 15 seconds sudden death typically, which means that you have 15 seconds to bid on that card. Sometimes you're going to get cooked because people don't know how much it's worth. Sometimes you win, and I know I've told you this offline and we spoke about this offline, but it all comes down to buying. If you can
Right,
buy at a good percentage, you will make money offline, online. The thing about whatnot is it's just more of a gamble if you make money or not. Sometimes people are going to overpay.
right.
Sometimes you think you have a great buy and the card is just too niche for whatnot. Like certain players that aren't liquid players do way better off the app than on the app. So sometimes I still flip offline, but it's mainly those niche players that I know I'll get cooked on whatnot. But liquid players I found do successfully on whatnot.
Are you speculating at all? Like is all your buys like short term, like things that are players that are doing really good and hot right now, rather than like speculating someone that you think is going to be up and coming and you might sit on that card for longer? Because you said you kind of try to keep your inventory rolling through, right?
Yeah, so currently now with the Super Bowl on Sunday, I've been pretty focused on Drake May and just football in general, just because that's where the hype is. You kind of just gotta, you can't really sell what you want. You gotta sell what the people want. It's kind of was with every business. I bet the guy who invented toilet paper didn't want to sell toilet paper, but there was a need for it. So you kind of got to do what your customers want and keep pleasing them in order to stay successful in any business, really.
So I know you mentioned football, basketball. Those are the two main ones I think that you do. What are the differences between the two? Like, what would you say the differences are in between the collector or whatever they're going for between basketball and football people?
I think football is a lot easier to sell strictly
Okay.
because games are usually only once a week. If a player does well on Sunday, you can run them for the whole next week and not really worry about the hype going down if they had a good game, and you can just hold. Basketball, I feel like there's just a market of 20 players that are always good buys, but they're expensive, and then the
Yeah.
rest you kind of got to take a shot in the dark with. Um, so I'd say football is honestly a lot easier because you have quarterbacks that get drafted early. Like basketball, you have like two guys, Cooper Flag, Con Knipple, that really are taking the market over. Edgecombe, kind of, Coward, kind of, but not to the extent like last rookie class in the NFL, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, Mike Penix, JJ McCarthy, all those guys. Drake May's going to Super Bowl. Bo Nix made to NFC AFC Championship. Jaden Daniels AFC
Well,
Championship. I mean, their
I,
numbers just you know,
yeah, I was just gonna say though, I notice all the people you're saying are all quarterbacks, aren't they?
yeah, I mean,
I mean, do people collect anything beyond quarterbacks, or what do you see? You know, because it seems
yes,
like that's the majority of the market, right?
definitely.
Okay.
There's the handful of guys like Bijan, Jameer Gibbs, and then you got like Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. But those are they're, like of the new classes, I guess. Like Jackson Dart's a pretty hot name that's floating around. Cam Scatabo.
Gataba.
But of that class, it's just the quarterbacks really, and I mean Drake May's in the Super Bowl, so I'm
Right.
buying. I live in Boston, so if I can buy Drake May, I'm buying Drake May.
Pop it off. Yeah. So do you see like a huge difference as far as volatility is concerned week to week during the regular season?
Um, yes and no.
Okay.
It just kind of depends on the player and how the team
Okay.
does. So yeah, I'd say yes, there's a high volatility for like the medium players, but if you're like a top guy, like NBA comparison, like if you're SGA, your market's not gonna fall after two or three bad games.
Right, like Mahomes,
Um,
right? Or like
yeah,
Mahomes is
Mahomes
he's
is down a little because he tore his ACL, but like
okay.
that's expected. If they just missed the playoffs, I don't think his market would be down at all. But since he has a torn ACL, it's kind of a tough one. But I think Mahomes is still a good buy personally.
Gotcha. Um, so what teams do you follow, like personally?
Personally,
Yeah.
big Celtics fan, huge Celtics fan.
Okay.
Um, football, I'm mainly fantasy football because that's how I got into football.
Okay.
So I mean, I live in New England. Pats are in the Super Bowl. I hope they win. It'd be awesome. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's not like the Celtics where if they lose a regular season game to Charlotte, I'll be pretty pissed off. Like if the Pats lose to the Jets, it's
Whoa,
just
whoa,
kind of
whoa.
whatever.
Have you seen that Charlotte is on the come up right now?
Oh, you're one of the believers, I
I'm
see.
not, no, no, no. I'm not saying that. No, no, no. You can stop right
LaMelo
there. I'm
has
saying though they
five
are
good
on the come
games.
up.
Yeah.
I am not, no, no, no. I strike that. I am not a LaMelo Ball fan. I will make that clear. But you got to admit they are doing something. For the
They
first
are.
time I've seen in, I don't, maybe ever. I mean, they're really
Yeah.
they got a thing going.
Since they were the Bobcats with Cardiac Kemba.
They're moving, man. I mean,
No,
you
they
gotta give
are.
them some credit.
I will. Fine. I'll say the Bucks then with no Giannis. That team is awful.
Oh, so what? Talking about back to cards a little bit. Fanatics taking over. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, are you a big fan of the new Topps Chrome Sapphire basketball cards? I know with football they're not all the way in yet, but I
Yeah.
mean, basketball's kind of laying that framework, right? How do you feel about the Topps and the Fanatics products?
Yeah, so I'll have two sort of answers to this. For
Okay.
me, if people want tops, it's kind of what I have to get.
Yeah.
It's not really up to me. I personally don't love it, but if people want it, it's kind of you kind of got to stay up with trends. I mean, any business kind of has to stay up with trends.
Totally.
But to say that, I the more I thought about this because we talked about this offline as well.
Right.
I haven't really looked too much into Topps basketball just because I'm so football heavy right now since Topps
Gotcha.
was getting released towards the end of the NFL season and NFL playoffs. I mean, Super Bowls in 2, 3 days. So obviously NBA is where my whole business is probably going to shift to primarily. So I'll get more of the ins and outs of Topps, but for now, it's if I see a cheap Topps card and of a good player, I'll buy it, but I'm not really immersed in that Topps scene yet. But I think it'll be interesting if people prefer Prism or Topps more.
Yeah.
But when you say you're following the demand, where do you draw the line though at basketball and football? Like you're not trying to, are you doing any like Pokemon or anything like outside of or other sports cards, or do
One
you
Piece.
One Piece? Yeah.
Um, Yes and no. Like, I'll have my friends who rip Pokemon or rip One Piece just sell me, or not, just literally give me the cards they won't want, and I'll put them on stream and see what they go for, just kind of as a social experiment.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like, they don't care. They let me take, like, we ran two
Right.
One Piece cards. My friends said they weren't worth anything. I put them up. They went for $16 together. I don't know if that's good or bad. So, if I'm getting them for free, he wants to do social experiments, he can do that. I personally will never buy any of that product unless I somehow get immersed in that world, but I'm not
Yeah.
looking into it.
You're not
Yeah.
big in the TCG like realm.
No.
No. Gotcha.
Well, so and are you selling anything on other platforms like eBay or anything
Yeah, good
currently?
question.
No. All whatnot, really.
Just all whatnot.
Got it.
I think eBay is just, I mean, this goes into a whole longer discussion about comps and everything, but
Right.
everyone on whatnot says comps are becoming more relevant because you just pay what you want for a card,
Right.
Right.
which is true. Like, why is eBay the stand still or whatever? Why are
Right.
they the standard? Like,
Right.
people are selling cards at card shows. That doesn't go on 130 Point. You're selling them on whatnot. eBay Live is now a thing. TikTok Live is now a thing. Like, I think eventually eBay, I don't know how cards are going to be comped or bought, but I think it's going to be more on how much you like a card, which is the good. I don't know. A lot of people who bring good product to whatnot and they enjoy the people's personalities who are streaming are more likely to go there than any eBay, in my opinion, just because there's not a real person behind the eBay auction unless it's the live. So,
Fair.
and I
And
think that's also why eBay and TikTok are both doing live auctions now because they realize
It's a huge
whatnot is
market.
starting to take some of their market over.
It's a huge market.
is Whatnot like do they have any comp statistics for what's selling on Whatnot? Or is there no way to find that? It would be cool if they used like some sort of AI like data tracking tool since they're all the sales are going through them, right? Like that it wouldn't be that hard for them to follow all the sales and start to,
I mean, there's just so many sellers. So it might,
Yeah.
I don't even know. And then
right,
it's like if somebody's got like Kirk's got hundreds of people in his room versus me, if I've got 10,
right. It's
you know
gonna
what I
affect
mean?
the
That value
prices
is
for
going to
sure.
differ
Right,
probably
of course.
quite a bit. So, but same with an auction. And that's what I try to
Yeah.
explain to people as well. If you have an auction ending at 3 a.m.
Yep.
and it's some super hot card right now, I wasn't up at 3 to buy it, but I probably would have at the price if it goes low. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
that's not ever factored in. What's also not with, we had a whole comp discussion on one of the last episodes, but the condition of the cards often isn't
Yep.
factored in when you look up the comp. It doesn't say anything about that. It doesn't say, very much information except what the card is, what it's serial number to, and what it sold for and where.
But so here's a question for both of you guys. Are you guys looking at comp prices of sold on eBay or something and then using that to set a like a low price for your cards that you're like certain cards. If they're more valuable, it's like you don't want to start it at $2, right? Just in
I
case you
mean,
don't have enough people in the room, right?
you do it. Whatnot. I mean, I'll let you answer that, but
Yeah.
you,
I run every card. I've run a $2,500 card at a dollar. Just
Wow.
kind of
Okay. So people
gotta
know,
tr
and you've got enough people in the room that you can trust that it's going to get up there and people know what they're looking at.
Yeah, and even if I lose, honestly, $100 on a big card, it's worth it in the long run because it gets people in there. It shows them that you're willing to run big cards, not like a 17-year-old screaming at $1 cards to bid for $15. Even though I hate comps, it's the only thing I look at when buying. Literally the only thing. And that's just because people in the chat will be like, "Oh, that was way over comps. Oh, that was way under comps." And that just goes back to eBay.
So do you
So
mention comps when you're live? Are you like being like, man, this is worth this much on this just went for this much to like let your people in your chat know that what its value is possibly?
typically not on the cards under
Okay.
like $250 now, just because if I showed every, it would take forever. But like on the higher end cards, I'll show like what they last sold for and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Just so I don't get absolutely killed on the card.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but it just takes way too long. And the one thing about Whatnot, which I think is really bad and good, attention spans are so short, which is bad, but that's what Whatnot captures. You can do even 3 second sudden death.
yeah,
So you can do a card on 3 seconds and be in the next card
yeah.
within 4 seconds. So it really is just a quick, fun way to move product.
I was gonna say too, one thing I've noticed, and I don't know if this is your experience, Kirk, but as someone who's sold cards on Whatnot and still does, but when I set something at a price, often if I run it at a dollar, it'll go much higher than if I set it at a certain price and say, hey,
Right.
this is the price that
Minimum.
a
Yeah.
minimum bid. And that's something I've seen, and I've seen a lot of other people that happens to as well. And
Because
it's
it creates more
frustrating.
hype and
I mean,
drive.
people
Like,
want to see you
yeah.
dropping it at a buck, and I've dropped
Yeah.
some huge cards as well. And it can be nerve-wracking though, I'd say. I don't know. What's your experience? You ever get like nervous with it, or did you used to? Or
I used to, but
yeah,
I mean, that's all part of it at this
yeah,
point. Like
it's fun, right?
if you lose, you lose. I mean, life is a gamble, whatnot's a gamble, everything's a gamble at the end of the day. So,
True.
yeah.
Do you run your numbers like after your you go live like to see what cards sold for versus what you paid, and are you doing like profit margins and everything like that, or are you just sort of like, yeah, are you paying
Big
I
close
buck
try
attention?
to. I try to, but it's so hard with
Dang.
everything. I'm always buying and then I'm always selling twice a week. So it's
Yeah,
hard
yeah.
to calculate what's still coming in. Then sometimes I'll still have cards after the show I didn't sell if I get a ton in. So I really should just not buy for a week, see what my total is and run a big show. But if there's a good deal, I'm not just gonna say, "Oh, I'm not buying right now." Like it's
Right.
just
Dude.
it's a really hard thing to track, which I really want to get better at and should find a way, but it's a tough way.
You highlighted on something there really interesting, and what I tell people the biggest problem is trying to do cards in general, like as a full-time job, is when you see a good deal, you have to jump on it. And it's like you got to have credit lines or a boatload of cash because there's deals and there's great deals all the time that you see, and you got to be ready to jump on them,
Yep.
and that's a huge thing I think that people don't think about when they're talking about the money that it takes to run this is you got to have some cash or
Definitely.
credit lines or reserves to jump on these deals. And I mean that's huge. So I just wanted to highlight that. A couple more questions about you. So, what's your favorite television show?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I don't watch too much. So I'm really sports heavy, which my girlfriend
Okay.
doesn't love. I watch sports every night.
So sports, solid.
We do watch shows. Like we don't. like we watch Netflix shows, Netflix movies, and stuff like that. But I'm trying to think. I can't
Just
even
to
remember the
just to
last.
appease her.
No, there's some good ones. I've gotten a little more into it, but at the beginning, yes, it was just for that.
Yeah.
Trying to think of what we watched on Netflix recently. I have no idea.
Must not have been that
Well,
memorable.
it
All
wasn't that bad, but it wasn't a sports game, so it
right,
wasn't a game-winning buzzer beater or anything.
so uh, favorite flavor of Gatorade.
Oh, ho, ho.
There's
Have
gonna
to
be one
say,
answer.
I'd have to say yellow. I'd have to.
The
You mean lemon lime?
Yep.
Okay.
orange is kind of yellowish.
No. Lemon lime is the only flavor of Gatorade. That's why I always say you
I
ask
like
people.
Yeah.
orange. I like orange.
I like orange too. Yellow, those it was between those two, but like the cool blue and the purple,
Oh
whatever they have now.
Yeah.
no, like that blue
Like,
knee-high drink. You ever see that? Like
yeah,
you get that at the gas stations back in the day.
yeah, no.
So where can we find you, or where can all these wonderful viewers out in internet land go and see Kirk?
So we're going through a rebrand right now.
Okay,
On Instagram, it's at the 617 cards right now, and on whatnot,
617.
it's still Kirk Stuart 29, but we'll be rebranding. You can change your name on whatnot when you have no outstanding orders, but I'm always buying on that, so I'm trying to give
Right.
myself a little time to not buy. But last night I got caught in a good deal, so I got to create a burner and buy on that. But that's the solution. But for right now, I'm Kirk Stewart 29 on eBay or on
Okay.
whatnot.
Okay. And then Instagram, you've got it was 617.
Yep, the
Uh,
617 cards.
got it.
Okay, got you. Man, what else you got for Kirk today? Anything else?
Nah, man. Thanks so much for coming out.
All right,
Yeah. So till next
hit me up.
time, much love, respect.